Good evening and welcome to a special late night edition of Operation Rocks Rescuing Our Communities, a live podcast where we discuss issues regarding civil rights, family court, domestic violence, false arrest. Unfortunately, the things that happen to men in today's law enforcement environment we live in. Tonight, I'm going to have a special guest with me. I've had him with me before. His name is Daniel Bentinelli. He is another fighter, excuse me, in the battle, in the the endless struggle, I would say, against single fathers and the family court system. The injustice that we face as men who, here we go with this again. I don't know what is wrong with my damn phone, people. I am really trying to figure this out as of late. There we go. Okay. Ha. There we go. Do we have it? We got it. All right. Boom. There we go, people. All right. So, Mr. Bentinelli is another gentleman like myself who was thrust into the family court system by unfortunately being falsely reported and maliciously prosecuted and vexatiously litigated. Because of this, not to tell his story too much, he was unfortunately stripped of access to his children too. And because of this, he has become incredibly knowledgeable, like myself, and has decided to fight back against the system that imposes such unfairness on single fathers and men who want to be part of their children's lives. Um, Little good news for me, really quickly, is I got full access to my daughter back. I haven't been online really because of all the civil litigation I'm involved in, unfortunately. Um, What's this? All the civil litigation I'm involved in. Unfortunately, excuse me, I'm involved in civil litigation in New York and New Jersey. Unfortunately, because of everything that happened with regard to my false arrest and my vexatious litigation in the family court system. I'm not complaining about it, but it is somewhat. It's tiresome, people. It's a fight that seems never ending. I've learned that it can last for years. It has lasted for years. I've been in court for years. And this literally all started because I decided to break up with someone who made me unhappy. I think that's what life teaches you as you get older is that a lot of times things are going to happen that don't make you happy. Um, the true marker I would say of becoming an adult is dealing with those things that don't make you happy in a adult way, not dealing with them like a child. And what I mean by not dealing with them like a child is not being petty, not being vindictive, not being unreasonable, not just not being an asshole. Excuse the language. That's kind of what happened in my situation, and men and women, we can both relate to that. Many times in domestic situations, it's the men. Women, you guys get tired of us. You want to move on. You want to get on with your life. You decide to go move on and be with someone else. Men, being the strong individuals we are, we tend to we tend to be more possessive when something is no longer ours. And in being more possessive, when a woman leaves a man that he feels he once possessed, you get to a point where it's like, no, now you have to have her. No one else can have her. And this is what creates a lot of the domestic situations that we as normal people experiences where a guy is just after a woman who no longer wants to be with. Um, I happen to be one of, and it's not rare. It's not rare. It happens all the time. My situation just happened to be the reverse. And I ended my relationship with someone who wasn't really happy with the situation, and because of that, they decided to make my life a living hell. Um, was it tiresome? Yes. Was it annoying? Yes. Did it cost me a lot? Yes. But in the end, I can definitely say it made me a more capable person, and it made me a lot more reliable. It gave me a hunger for knowledge. It gave me a need to learn civil practice and family law because I was being bled out. I was being bled out by just litigation, constant cases everywhere I was going. People between New York and New Jersey. This woman just kept filing repetitive, vexatious litigation on me. And for those of you who don't know what that term means, it means she kept filing the same police reports on me again over and over to intentionally cause me harm. That's the point of vexatious and malicious litigation. When someone files something that they know is not true for the simple purpose of harassing you or trying to obtain a negative objective. And this woman's objective was to try to have me falsely convicted for allegedly lying on her about child. Where is that coming from? Okay, hold on, people. This is my guest. Daniel, what's up, brother? Nothing much. I'm on now. You said you can't hear me? Mm-hmm. That's really weird. I don't know. That's interesting. Let's try that again. Hold on. So add people, one guest, right up to 10. I don't know why it's telling me I have one already. That's really weird. Okay, let's send this to you again. Let's see what happens. 1 second. Paste. Ah, there you go. See if that works. That might work. That looks a little shorter. It looks a lot shorter. That might be it. Maybe I copied the wrong one. My fault. We'll see in a second. Once you click it, you should come on. Yeah. Text me. Okay, text me. Text me your email address in Messenger. I'll send it to you now. All right. That was our guest, people. We're having some technical difficulties. Just bear with me. So I'll just shoot the shit, as they say, for a second, and keep us otherwise engaged until my guest it comes online. So, like I was saying, the good news is I got access back to my child. She's huge, people. She's freaking huge. Oh, she's huge, yo. I was actually shocked when I seen her. She was so damn big. And it was kind of bittersweet, because I haven't seen her in almost 2 years. So to see her from being like between 1 and 2 years old and being like so small, her little legs, she could barely walk, to now being able to stand, jump, karate kick, and all of this. I will say honestly, people, it did hurt my feelings a lot. I missed some really important years of my first child's life that I never intended to miss. Not because of myself, because of vindictiveness and bitterness of someone else. Um, but people, I'm just glad I got my daughter back. I got access to her. She has her first picture day coming up in 3 weeks. I'm so excited. I get to buy my daughter clothes for picture day. Yeah, I'm so excited. So, it should be pretty dope. I'm actually really happy that's going to go down. And I'm going to be able to be a part of my daughter's picture day and now be part of her life, because that part of the horrible domestic violence situation I'm involved in is over. It's not over, actually. It's not over. It's just over. It's with regard to the battle against my child's mother. Now, the battle against the family court, that's not over. That's just beginning. And that's the whole purpose of today's show, people. The purpose of today's show is to try to give, excuse me, everyone who watches this show a means and a pathway to adequately, I would say, file a complaint or seek action if a judge violates your judicial rights, which is a really serious problem, and it's actually a lot more frequent than one may think. The family court, the criminal court of New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Connecticut, whatever state you might reside in, is controlled by what's called the rules of court. The rules of court govern every court within every state within the United States. And federal rules of civil procedure and federal rules of criminal procedure govern the rules of federal and civil courts. I'm trying to see if Mr. Bentinelli is ready yet, because it looks like I don't have anyone yet, but I don't see him. Is there like a waiting room or something? Why don't I see? Today's not going down like that, people. I don't know. Think I need a new link. All right, he hasn't come on yet, so we'll see what's going on. Because I don't know what's going on, people. I'm supposed to have a guest, but I think he's having some technical difficulties. So just be patient. It should be coming. I did send him the link. Um, so, like I was saying, with judicial process is governed by rules of court. But the problem with that is the average litigant. The average litigant, the normal person who goes before a criminal or a family court, you have no idea what these rules of court are. They're very, excuse me, voluminous. They're in a language that, if you're not familiar with reading what is called legalese, it's going to look like you're reading another language. I won't use the term Chinese, not to put any racial epithets out there. But it's going to look like alien. It's going to look like another language. It's going to be hard for you to understand. It's going to be really frustrating. And not knowing these rules of court is like trying to play. It's like hypothetically trying to play chess without understanding how the board works. You're never going to win. You're constantly going to look like an idiot, and people are going to be taking your king in 2 or 3 moves and trapping off your king. Excuse me. So the best thing to start with in any situation is to learn the rules of court. Now, the rules of court are so voluminous, you'll never learn them all unless you truly have, I would say, the capacity or a passion to sit down and really learn them, and you have an extensive period that you'll be before the family court. It takes attorneys years to learn these rules of court. It takes them years to learn the rules of the Family Court Act of whatever state that they may practice in. It takes them rules to learn the criminal procedure of whatever state they may practice in. Being an attorney is not an easy job. It is not something that just because you read a book for a year, you're an attorney. No, it takes schooling. It takes the educational pathway to have the skills necessary to apply the trade. Um, so by no means should you undercut a lawyer ever. Because truthfully speaking, as much as we may want to refer to them as pieces of shit, the job is actually not as easy as one might think. It requires so much writing and reading. It takes a lot of discipline to be able to accomplish the things that a good lawyer can accomplish. Either that or a really good paralegal. And the only way you're going to get a really good paralegal is you're making really good money because you're a really good lawyer. But if you don't have this, you have to find a means. What's up with Daniel? Hold on, let me figure it out, people, because I'm starting to ramble because I'm waiting for this guy to click in. But I think he might be having technical difficulties. Did I email it to him? I think I did email it to him. I'm not losing my damn mind, right? Oh shit, I sent it to myself. Oh my god. I'm sorry, Daniel. Hold on a second. Forgive me, people. The whole time I'm waiting on this gentleman and I haven't sent it to him. Let's see. I gotta put him in here. I know I have him here. There he goes. Gotcha. All right. I'm sorry, brother. There we go. Okay, he should be in any minute now, people. I made a mistake. I forgot to send him the link. I sent it to myself. My bad. Okay, so let's just give him a second to come on so I stop rambling and he can come in. I don't want to keep rambling. All right, I might have done it now. Let's just see because I screwed up. I so thought I had sent it to him the whole time I was talking. I'm sorry, guys. Um, but as you can see, I feel very light. I haven't been on again because of all the civil litigation. Attorneys have advised me not to speak as much as I've been speaking, which I disagree with people. I don't think someone who's telling the truth should ever have to hide what they have to say or ever be nervous or ever be cautious of what you say. Excuse me. If you're telling the truth, you have nothing to hide. You don't need to watch what you say. You don't have to worry about someone cross-examining you to say something wrong because you're not lying. And as long as you're not lying, it doesn't matter how someone comes at you, as long as you told the truth throughout the whole process. It doesn't matter how someone may try to defame your character by bringing up something that has nothing to do with the reason that you're actually before a court. As long as your testimony and the things you say check out without any judicial, or I would say, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Negative interference, fraud, things like that, you have nothing to worry about. But judicial fraud does happen. Believe me, I know. Okay, what's up with that? Because now I did email it to him, so he should have it. I hear something. I heard something. What was that? I heard something bleep. I don't know where it came from, though. Is that him? Looks like two things might be there. Yes, it is. Okay. Gotcha.
Good morning.
Good, good morning. It's evening over here, but good morning. That's right. I always forget we're on like a 15-hour time difference.
Oh, mate, I'll get it right one day.
One day we'll get it right. You're right. It happens. So how you been, man?
Yeah, it's only the depth that varies, mate.
You said huh?
It's only the depth that varies, in our life, in our existence.
Yeah, you're true. It's an up and down roller coaster. That's definitely true. Sometimes you're flush and sometimes you definitely bust.
Exactly. But I do hear congratulations is in order, mate. So well done with the family court.
Um, I worked hard for it, but I'm gonna be honest. I got lucky. Um, I was actually able to catch the mother of my child in such a great lie that she was intelligent, more intelligent than I've given her credit for in the last 3 years. And she said, "Wait a minute, okay, I realize I might be kind of screwed." She said, "Listen, how can we come to terms? I'll give you access back. I'll agree to whatever terms you want. Just don't put me in jail." Sounds like a plan to me. Okay, you're gonna agree to everything. You're gonna agree to everything. So, not believing them because we know they can lie to be vexatious. We go to court, and I'm arguing it in court, and the court is trying to shut me down. But in the middle of me speaking, she comes in and says he's telling the truth about every word he just said. I mistakenly reported him, and I want him to have access to his child right now. Considering she's the custodial parent, what can they say? Nothing. And they were pissed. But the good news about it is like during the proceedings, because of what I was arguing with procedural due process, the court actually admitted that they made a horrible mistake and assigned she and I the same attorney in the beginning. And because of that, they probably are civilly liable. Um, so that was a really good thing also. So now the real battle civilly starts with them now to try to make some type of change. And let's hope I can do it. Let's hope I can do it enough that it makes the next father's fight a lot easier than it was for myself. Definitely.
Yep. No, good to hear.
Yeah, because it's been a nightmare. And you know the one thing that I have noticed about it, see, like, and that's the whole point of why I wanted to do this with you, because I kind of noticed that judicial misconduct is a big problem in these cases. The problems are attorneys. Attorneys are liars. You know what makes a good attorney is not knowledge. I've learned what makes a good attorney is the ability to one litigate and what's the word I'm looking for, present the argument, and two is lie. They are pathological liars. They lie. They lie through their teeth. They lie with straight faces. They lie about everything they know about to accomplish the objective. And as fathers, we go in there and we're angry. We want our kids back, and they're just using that against us to totally manipulate the situation. But the problem complicates when you have a judge who also is unethical and presents misconduct by violating your judicial process. So I thought a good idea might be for the two of us to come together and try to just give people some basic insight on what they can do, because the path is pretty much the same everywhere. The courts might be different. One place might have a magistrate, another place might have a judge, but procedurally, it's all the same with regard to filing a complaint on the judge. Um, and we're two incredibly knowledgeable individuals, so we can probably make it work if we get to it.
Well, and what most people don't know, Clayton, is that these self-proclaimed, um, what can I use as a political and nonchalance, not get myself in too much trouble. I refer to them as parasites, is what I look as a lawyer, because they survive off others. They feed
Mm.
from others. So, and what I mean by that is, once they gain the qualifications to be a lawyer, a barrister, a judge, they swear an oath to the Bar Association. That oath means that even though you think as a client you're paying, so you're represented by them first and foremost, they're not. Their first obligation is to the court process. So we think we're going in there, we're paying all this money to get a lawyer to represent us in their best ability, but they actually know that they have an authority to dictate only what the court will allow them to do. So they'll only take things so far, depending on what's seen as in the court's best interest. And the
Mm.
judicial misconduct you refer to, I don't know about over there, but over here, what they put that down to is it's a judicial privilege, meaning that the presiding judge gets to decide what they feel is in the best interest of social justice. They don't
Mm.
necessarily have to adhere to the laws and the legalities that we think they do. They can make their mind up as they go, so to speak. And then
No,
there's
it's the same here. It's the same here.
and the family court. Let's be honest, is I truly believe the whole design of family court is to destroy families, destabilise parents, predominantly fathers, and traumatise children to maximise their profit margin.
Oh,
Because no
definitely.
child wants to be cut out of one half of their family's life, and
Mm.
this is what they're continuously doing. They're causing parental alienation. The child support system financially incentivises parental alienation. The less time dad gets, the more money mum's entitled to. And and they all know. All the political leaders know. All the judges and barristers and lawyers and so forth, professional court and psychologists, they're all well aware. But they've got a certain narrative that they seem to stick to no matter what.
No, I totally agree with you because it's funny you said that. Is you just said something that kind of sparked me to remember something. You said that they're all aware of it, and they are aware of it. That's the funny part. They actually know that that these women file false reports. They just don't care. When I was in my hearing last week, my child's mother confessed, totally confessed, she filed the false report on me. Once I was able to show them that I had already effectively worked the relationship out without them to the point where we were able to communicate, instead of them addressing the fact that she filed a false petition, they said, "Well, if if you guys have worked this out, you don't need us anymore." I didn't need you to begin with. What are you talking about? I never needed you. There was never an allegation against me. You guys literally used an order of protection to stop me from talking to this woman. And then because I got the order of protection dismissed through litigation, I called her. And once I called her, she and I had a conversation and realized you guys were lying. This is why it worked out. You guys didn't do anything. Um, the
That's a
corruption.
valid point. That's a valid point right there, because if mum and dad can sit down and work it out, that's a lot of money that the court system doesn't get their grubby little hands on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's what I think
scheduled.
it'll come back
They
to.
lit. They've literally scheduled me for over. God, man, I might have about 100 and something hearings in, easily 100 something hearings in it. You got to think about it. These judges and the judges and lawyers, they don't make $50 an hour. They make hundreds of dollars an hour. So if this went on for 3 years, that means my case, which was just admitted to be a false petition where there was never an allegation against me, just cost the state of New York probably close to $1 million in 3 years of litigation for absolutely nothing. Now there has to be, one would think that all of the what's the term, because we have Trump in office now because he won. He's literally cutting the fat off of them and fucking everything over here. He's deporting migrants. He's shutting down the federal government. He doesn't want to pay. He's not hiring. What do you call it? Oh God, what is it? He put a freeze on federal hiring. He made all of the federal workers go back to work. So over here things are kind of crazy right now. Everybody hates this guy, but a lot of what
Well,
he's
I've got to interject there, mate. Tell him when he's finished cleaning up over there, if he wouldn't mind coming over to Australia.
he might need to, because the,
Yeah,
the 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 governmental, like the government, what's the word I'm looking for? God, I can't even think of it right now. The government mismanagement is insane. Um,
yeah.
Literally, they waste millions of dollars on positions and departments that do absolutely nothing. So this guy seems to be coming in trying to shake it up by making them do something and shutting down their hiring, which hopefully it'll affect the court system. Really, the family court, because I think the family court is the biggest drain on any municipality, is the family court system. That's
It
all it
is.
does.
And it just creates further litigation for anybody that's willing to get the balls to take it elsewhere in a different jurisdiction. You can't help but want to try to use the system to fight back. And again, I think you're set up from the word go, because that's why here we have a legal system. There's no justice found in this legal system. It's just about how much they can sponge out of you before you realise what's going on.
Until they get tired of calling you before the court, pretty much. That's exactly what happens, because that's where I'm at now. Once they get tired of calling you before the court, then they actually want to wrap up your case. But they always want to wrap it up in favor, and I hate to say this, of the woman. Unless the woman is incredibly guilty. And I mean, she has to be abusive, a crackhead, a drunk, something to that nature. And then they may say, okay, you know what? We'll give the father respect. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, because the option is worse than giving it to the father. Mind you, a lot of fathers are more than capable of taking care of their kids. They're just never granted the opportunity. Another point with my situation is I found out that there was an order that actually ordered them 3 years ago to come and investigate, evaluate my home for me to gain access to my daughter. I was never called. They never called me. They never completed the investigation, my brother. They never called me. They never checked on my employment. They never made sure my home was suitable for a child. I never got one phone call in 3 years. Mind you, they made sure they kept my child away from me for 3 years. They tried to make me pay social workers because supposedly they couldn't get a social worker for me. The system's too crowded. So we'll send you a list of private social workers that work with the court that you can pay to set up 6 or 7 appearances so you can get your child back. Gee, Your Honor, how much is a private social worker? About $300 an hour. Excuse me? What are you talking about? You just gave me a lawyer, but you're expecting me to still come out of pocket and pay a social worker $300 an hour. Mind you, I have no allegation of domestic violence against me. There's no allegation that I did anything to the child. The mother is consenting to giving me access with the child. The court just wants to force me to pay for these visits. And you're telling me this is not a racket? It definitely is.
It's financial extortion directly in our face, isn't it? And then they'll try and then they hide it under the banner of, but it's all in the best interest of the children. That's
That's
the
a
most
joke.
insulting part, isn't it? Yeah.
That is the funniest. That's probably the funniest joke that they can make, is that the entire process is in the best interest of children. It's absolutely not. Um, it has nothing. They don't. My child's mother actually confessed that my child's lawyer never called her. 3 years. The lawyer never called her. Mind you, every time we're going to court, she's telling the court that she's working with the mother to do what's within the best interest of the child. But you've never spoken to the mother. So how are you working for what's in the best interest of the child? The truth is she didn't like me because I was arguing so much with them because I didn't do anything wrong. She's like, oh no, he's disruptive. He's not going along with the process. He's not allowing us to put an order of protection on him. He's argumentative. You're damn right. I'm argumentative. I'm innocent. Why am I here? Um, so it's insane, man. Like, but I don't
That's
want to.
the
I
other
don't.
point, Clayton, that it seems to be fathers like you and I, the ones that do stand up and become argumentative and say, no, I'm not copping this fucking shit, I haven't done anything wrong. We're the ones that come after harder. We're
Yeah,
the ones that force more time between us and our children. And then we're left to try to piece back together any form of a meaningful relationship moving forward.
yeah,
I remember asking the judge in my case, like, just do your job. She said to me, what would you have me do? And I said, just your job. You're sitting there claiming that what you do is paramount to the best interests of the children, yet you've just alienated me directly from my child. I'm in a similar situation where I haven't seen my youngest daughter for 5 years now. She's 13 on the 20th, and yet I haven't even had a phone call. So my last orders were my relationship can continue with my youngest daughter when the psychiatrist or psychologist deems fit. So when they pick the phone up and talk to me or organise an interview, same thing. I
mm.
haven't heard of it. Nobody's
So
rang me.
you've been waiting for them just to give you a phone call to assess whether or not you can. That's a damn, yeah. That's what they did to me. I'd still be waiting if the mother didn't confess. I would still be waiting for that phone call. Still be waiting for that home evaluation. And I think
See, the
that's the.
mother in my situation isn't going to confess, mate. You're right in what you said. When you said luck, I thought, oh no, but it is a very lucky situation that she's actually owned up that. It sounds like you've done your work though, your due
You
diligence,
know,
you're in a position where
I put in the work. But the truth of the matter is, bro, she's not. She didn't do it because it was the right thing to do. She did it because she was basically forced to do it. It was, you
yeah,
know what? Let me do the right thing at this point before it gets so bad I lose custody. Because I don't know if it's the same over there, but over here, if you can prove that a mother is actually alienating a child, actually, I learned that because of you. When you kept using the legal term parental alienation, I said I've read that somewhere before. So I started checking into the case law for parental alienation, and sure enough, it's not it hasn't been argued as much as it should be argued in court because it's really hard to argue and prove it because of the psychological evaluations, the specialists you need, things like that, which I'm sure you're aware of. But
yeah.
if you can prove it, it's an automatic guarantee you're going to get custody. Automatic if you
That's the
can prove.
problem here.
Yeah,
They won't even acknowledge it in the court system.
yeah.
They run
They
under the UN. So the UN made a public statement
mm,
last year, the year before, that parental alienation is a fabricated statement made up by disgruntled fathers that lose custody in the family court.
wow.
That's the UN stance on it, and for some reason that's where we seem to fall in line with whatever they tell us. And hence what I said before, mate. When Trump's finished cleaning up over there, send him over here, will you?
He might have to, because I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of case law here with parental alienation. If you can prove it, it takes a lot though. Like they actually have a book that the American Bar Association sells. I just bought it because I bought the book thinking I was going to have to use it to argue this case, but then she confessed, so I don't even need the book. But basically, what the book does is it lays out how to properly litigate a parental alienation case.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, it says you have to be. I'll DM it to you. It
Yeah,
says you have to start off incredibly aggressive because the court is going to do exactly what you're saying. They're going to try to minimize it so that it's just an argument of the father against the mother that has no validity. This is why you need the specialist because there's like 17 traits there's 17 strategies or tactics of a parentally alienating parent. So basically, what the specialist does is look for the alienating parent's conduct. Like if they interfere with your contact with the child, if they're lying to the police, if they're filing abusive litigation, and if they meet those criteria, then they will come on board and testify for you as your parental alienation specialist. And then they interview the child. Um, it's complex. I'm not gonna lie. It's complex. You can definitely see that it's something that you really have to focus on. And then, oh, that's another thing. They even advise you, like when you start a trial and you have an opening statement, they advise you to have the judge grant you a longer time for an opening statement so you can lay everything out in the case. It's a really good book. I'm gonna send you the link. It's a really good
Yeah,
book,
yeah, by all means, mate, please.
and it's the American Bar Association, so I'm pretty sure it's applicable throughout because the Bar Association standards are the same. It's really just ethics.
I'm not sure the Bar Association and ethics can be used in the same sentence, Clayton.
I know. I caught myself saying it. I know. I caught myself. That
No,
and you know what the saddest part about this entire process is the damage it does to your faith in the legal system because you really learn that the legal system is bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Criminal justice is bullshit. Criminal justice is not for private citizens. It's for the politicians. It's for the prosecutors. It's for the cops. It's for them to make careers off of idiots they can catch and prosecute and run through the system. It's not to grant us any justice. It's
no,
not.
no. And that's why over here they've got the legal system.
Mm.
Most of the time, that's I'm actually directed back to that when I try to query barristers and
Yeah.
ask them if their oath lies. And it's I actually had one the other day on social media tell me that he's seen no issues up to date with representing the court first and his client second.
Mm.
Now, to me, that shows you've got no ethical behaviour at all.
Mm.
If we can determine that the person paying you that you're there to represent isn't as important as your oath that you've sworn to get the qualification, then you're in the wrong fucking line of work.
Yeah.
That's not in the kid's best interest. And what they're doing is they're traumatising generations of children by erasing parents. And I mean, I know parental alienation happens to mothers and fathers,
Mm.
but based on the gender driven family court system and the legal system in its whole, it's mainly fathers that are being erased from their children's lives.
Oh, it's
It's
definitely
mainly
father.
fathers that are, we're the ones that are facing false allegations and violence orders that should never have been put on in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it's the golden Willy Wonka ticket in a custody dispute that
Yeah.
you're now stuffed because mum can keep coming back to, well, he's got a violence order, and that's all they need to say.
Yeah. Your it's kind of funny you just said that with the orders because in my case the reason I got the order of this protection dismissed is because there was never an allegation of family, what do you call that, a domestic violence offense. In New York they have the Family Court Act, so someone has to list specific offenses for you to violate the Family Court Act. Not one offense was ever listed toward against me, not one. But this judge 3 years ago put a temporary order of protection against me. Why did you put an order of protection against me if I didn't violate the Family Court Act? I don't know. Now, because of this gave the mother of my child a tool she could use for vengeance. So angry that we wouldn't talk, of course she did what they do and she lied on me to the cops. She got me arrested a few times, lying, saying I went to her house. I wasn't even in the state of New York at the time. Now we go to court in December. In December, another judge says, wait a minute, there's no allegation against you here. Why is there an order of protection against you? You know what? Boom, this is dismissed. What? What are you talking about, lady? I just got arrested for this 2 or 3 times. The judge actually tells me that I'm being disruptive. No, man. You have to understand. My freedom was taken from me because of this order that this court granted. Now, 3 years later, you're telling me that there was never a legal justification for you to grant this order. But instead of the court taking some type of responsibility, the only thing you're going to try to do is wash your hands and kick me under the table. How is that any type of justice? It's not.
Yeah,
It's like it's a really sick process. It really is.
yeah, and you're dead right because the same thing happens here where I've had three violence orders over a 5 year period. I've had them all revoked and withdrawn, representing myself, and And I strongly believe that at the first time that it came about was my legal advice was just accept the violence order, but don't admit to the contents. Now, that's legal misrepresentation of the facts because if you're giving somebody legal advice to accept something without admitting to it, knowing that it's going to cause further legal ramifications in a different jurisdiction, i.e., a custody dispute, how are you representing your client to the best of your ability? You can't be. You're leading them down a garden path that you know is going to wind up with coming back to bite them in the ass, and then just through false allegations, just through lack of any evidence and facts, dad's now got no time with his children. He has to wait until he can get a court date in the family court, which could be up to 12 months later.
Yeah.
And as you found out, they just continually adjourn it, and then go, oh shit, you shouldn't have had this on in the first place. We'll stand this, sorry about that. That's it. There's no. How does that benefit you and your daughter's relationship?
It doesn't. They don't care. No,
No.
no counseling, and like in situations like that where you've been kept from your child so long, legally they're supposed to enter. They're supposed to introduce. They're supposed to give you. I think it's like a reintroduction counselor or something like that. Something to make the transition for you and the child after an extended period easier. I didn't get any of that. They never even made an appointment for it. They never even tried. They didn't care. Literally, I believe that if things had not gone the way they went last week, I probably wouldn't have saw my daughter this entire year.
Yeah.
I'm positive of it. The way they were stalling me, I didn't even go back to court until June. It's January. I don't go back till June. That was for a conference that probably they would have took 20 minutes to set additional court dates for themselves because that's about the roundabout process every time I go. They take 15 minutes, 20 minutes to schedule new dates for themselves. Then they let my child's mother's side talk 90% of the rest of the time, and they give me 10%, which is not enough time to present anything. Then they reschedule us for another hearing, which is about 3 or 4 months down the line. So before you know it, it's 2025. We're in December 2025, about to go into 2026, and it's insane.
Yeah, and it's a tactic, another tactic they use to build the status quo up against you. And then they force you to have supervised visits where you've got to pay more money.
Yeah.
And then they'll turn around and they'll hide under the banner of, but this is all happening in the best interest of the child. It's unless you've lived it, you truly, I find it's very hard to believe and comprehend.
Nobody believes it. Nobody believes me when I tell them all this happened. They're like, dude, you're full of shit. What did you do to your child's mother? Nothing. The
Yeah,
court literally just will not. The court does not choose to believe men. They do not. They do not. It's worse. It's worse over here in my country. It's worse if you're a minority. That's like it's like the three strike system. You already have a strike being a single father. You're out. They do not care. You got two strikes if you're a single father going against the mother. That is the whole truth. The mother walks in. It doesn't matter if she's a drug addict, she's a robber, she's a fucking murderer. They don't care. When she walks into the family court, she puts a white halo on and she becomes Mother Teresa. She has done nothing wrong. She's spitting freaking holy water with every sentence she's saying. Every word she's saying is factual, incredible. They take nothing that the woman says could possibly be a lie. Everything the man is saying is a lie. There has to be something wrong with that. And I kind of wanted to touch on something else you were saying as far as with the lawyers working for the court and not us. That is the total truth. This is why the lawyers won't tell you if the court violates your procedural due process by, let's say, the judge appointing you an attorney that's the judge is not supposed to appoint you, or the judge dismissing a motion when you're not present, which judges are not supposed to do because they're supposed to give you the opportunity to be present when your argument is heard. They can't dismiss it because they choose to and not have you come to the court. And these attorneys won't even say anything. They'll just allow the judge to dismiss the order and say, well, you know what? Okay, well, the judge dismissed the order. What do you want to do now? You got an order of protection against you. No, stupid, appeal it. What are you talking about?
yeah, yeah. No, you're right, and they do the same thing on ex parte base here,
Yeah.
where on the first time that I received the violence order, I was supposed to be in court on the Friday prior, and they didn't serve it on me until the following Monday.
Mm.
And it just simply said, "Oh, sometimes we get a lot to serve and we don't get them out in time."
Mm.
Well, so if that's not conspiracy to corrupt, I'm supposed to be in court to defend allegations of a pretty serious nature, and now I'm not even aware that I'm supposed to be in court. And you just simply say, "Oh, sorry about that. Just run up to the next one." That's the thing that really gets me is even when you outline to them that they're all false allegations being used to obtain these violence orders, and I can prove it, they don't at the next hearing actually want to resolve it then and revoke the order and stop wasting court time. They actually just continually adjourn it.
Yeah.
So on average, my violence orders went for approximately 12 months each. By the time they just keep adjourning it, and then turn around and say, "Oh, we've decided to withdraw the application and revoke the order." Well, in that time, you've left it where she now can run up to the family court and say, "Here's a violent perpetrator. You can't allow him to have any time with his children because he's still in the courts, and they know that he's a violent perpetrator." Where they're all involved. It's a team fucking sport, and we're
It
doing
is a
one.
team sport.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah,
It's a fun. They are playing on A team, and we are the B team. You are right. The
yeah,
mother walks in and she admits she's not even the captain of the team. The sad part about the family court system is that the mother becomes an unwitting pawn. And they don't even realize it because they're so focused on hurting you, they don't even realize that the court is using them.
yeah. Well said. Well fucking said. Yep.
That's what I really noticed with my child's mother watching it. Like I hated her. I still dislike her. But I saw what they was doing. I said she don't even realize what's going on. They're using you. You know, her lawyer's telling her, "Oh no, no, no! You know what? You need to file this order of protection. Why do you need to file?" And she actually told her lawyer. She says, "Listen, why do I need to file an order of protection on him? He hasn't done anything to me. You need leverage. This is going to help your case." She recorded them. Oh, thank you for recording this for me.
Yeah, that's gold.
That's
Yeah,
gold. I filed because over here when you sue the court, you have to file a complaint with the city controller. So I filed a $2 million lawsuit against him. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see now that you have a civil action against you for a monetary, what do you call that? Punishment. Let's see now if you answer some questions. And that's what I'm actually hoping. I'm hoping by suing them that it at least wakes them up to the fact, like, okay, these people keep coming at us. Uh, Everyone's telling us that these petitions are false. We're not doing anything about it. There's petition fraud. Attorneys are lying. Maybe we should readjust the family. Maybe we should look at the procedural due process of the family court system because something's wrong.
oh, mate, I'm glad to hear that you've actually taken things into the civil jurisdiction because,
Yeah,
as you know, I've done the same thing.
yeah,
But the issue is that a lot of men want to go down this path, but as you pointed out before, once you get chewed up and spat out in the family court and realise that it doesn't fucking matter that I've got all the evidence and the facts, I still walked out of being lost my child and got extorted, you lose total faith in the legal system
yeah,
completely. And when I say to dads, "Oh, look, you know, you've got the option to go back and maybe a malicious prosecution claim or collateral abuse process," they start to get involved and then they think, but hang on, look what happened last time I went to court. I got completely fucked, and yet it cost me all this money. I still don't have a relationship with my child, and now somehow I'm asking them to have faith in the other jurisdiction of the legal system. And 99% of them say, "Mate, I'm not fucking going anywhere near a
yeah,
court for the rest of my life."
yeah. I've actually met a lot of fathers who told me the same thing. They said, "Listen, man, I commend you because I'm gonna be honest. I would have just had another baby." I was like, "What?" It's like, yeah. This look
Yeah,
what they doing to you. This is why men go and have other babies. Like women think they're doing something good. No, you're not. You're pushing the guy away to just go be in another relationship and have another child. It's easier. It's not like it's not like as a man you don't want to take care of your child because you do. You just don't want to deal with the headache that's coming from what's being imposed on you by the court and a mother who's uncooperative. So, in the end of the day, it has to be about like we all love our kids, but you have to take care of you too. Because if you don't take care of you, how are you going to be any benefit to the kid?
yeah, you're no good to anybody else either.
You're no good to anybody if you don't have a basis for you. If your life is not built on at least a stable enough foundation to do something constructive without having to worry about going to jail every day or losing your job, you're no benefit to your child. You might as well leave the child with the mother and sign over all parental rights.
And I think the big picture here too, Clayton, is that there seems to be a push for an anti-family agenda.
Oh, totally agree.
I'd
Totally.
love to get hold of anybody that watches your show. I'd love to get hold of any form of statistics that would show the divorce rate since the early 70s prior to the family court being established. Because I can pretty much bet everything that I've got left that people are not staying married anymore. And as you pointed out as well, that even if you've got an amicable relationship with the mother of your children, once she goes and has an initiating interview with a lawyer, that is completely fucking blown out of the water. She's coming back angry. She's
Yeah.
coming back thinking that you're trying to rip her off. She's coming back thinking that you're going to do something if she doesn't get in first. And they actually incite this conflict
Oh, you
because the
do.
longer it drags out, the more money they're entitled to.
Yeah.
You know? And it's, as you said, mate, until you live it, you won't believe it. You just can't fucking get your head around the fact that the system will fuck you over.
That's why I kind of realized that just because I actually got access to my daughter, I can't stop. Because stopping is not the answer. Stopping it just, truthfully speaking, being wiser now and being older, I realize stopping is not going to prevent her from doing it again. My daughter's 3 years old. I have a long time to go. I have no intention on dating this woman. Eventually, I'm focusing on being a father, but eventually I'll date a woman again. How do I know that she's not going to flip out when I date someone else again and decide to do this all over again? So
Oh, you,
it's,
you're fucking, that's exactly what will happen.
and
Two
that's
ways.
what will happen.
Yeah.
That's exact, and I see it already because I can see. I just see the type of. I see the way she is. Not saying anything bad about her because I know she watches all of my content. But I just see what she's doing. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to live through that. I just want to be a good father for my daughter. I don't have to. I don't want to have to worry about going to jail because her mother's not happy. I'm not with her, or that I might be trying to be with some. I don't want to have to deal with that. So we have to get this straight. Definitely.
Yeah. And you're right. You're right to be fearful because, as I said, I faced three of them over a 5 year period, and it
Mm.
was like because there was no legal accountability in the first spate, then the allegations just kept getting far worse. You know, they
Yeah.
just kept getting to the level where you just wouldn't sit down and read it and not come up with a conclusion that either somebody's writing a script for a make believe fucking fairy tale that's just going to destroy some poor bastard, or well, there's got to be something at the end of the rainbow as to why she's continuing doing this.
Mm.
But I use the analogy that if you dangle a carrot in front of a hungry donkey, you probably win your grade A horse race.
Mm.
It's the same thing that's going on in modern society when women are being, in this country, women are being financially incentivized to make false allegations to obtain domestic violence orders.
Mm.
They actually get monetary kickbacks by and they can have them put on you. You haven't even seen them for 4 years.
You're
They can
actually
go
right.
into
We
a
do.
conversation and say, "I feel like I'm in danger," with no facts, no evidence, just her feelings and emotions, and she'll have that order granted. And then a man's got, I've got so many different dads that I speak to on a daily basis that until you hear their story, you just think, I thought I'd heard it all. I thought I'd heard as bad as it gets. But then, without a doubt, once a week I'll get a story to come through the end of the phone, and I think it's just fucking unheard of to believe that it can still be going so bad, and yet blokes have got no recourse. You've got no legal outlet because you're too fearful of the system failing you already.
And it's set up so men fail because you're right, they do incentivize women, at least over here they incentivize them. They have what's called like victim services. Basically it's a program that completely caters to women. It does not cater to male victims, it caters to women. Women go, if let's say they can file a police report and they can say a guy was outside their house, they don't have any camera footage, no proof, that guy will be arrested, and then the state will supply them with money to move into a new apartment to move.
Yep. Yeah,
And
same
like
thing.
it's like, so all if she just wants to move, all she has to do is lie on a guy and say he was outside her house. You're gonna lock this guy up, and basically the deposit and the 1 month rent she's getting, you're gonna get out of this guy from him being in jail and going through the legal system. So you're just gonna transfer it right over to her anyway.
Yeah. And let's be clear, we want genuine victims to be safeguarded.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But by ignoring the false allegations and ignoring the fact that males can be victims, you're basically endangering the vulnerable victims that genuinely need the support and missing out on it because resources are being stretched in an area where they shouldn't have been put in the first place.
Yeah.
The assessment criteria is, oh, she cried, she must be scared.
Mm.
It's ridiculous to believe that in a world we live, you don't have to have, as you say, video footage or any evidence or any facts. You can just have nothing but hearsay, and you'll be believed and given everything you need to relocate and continue to destroy them.
Well, actually, that it's not really like that. There's a biased perception of that because it's not really like that. If me and you walk in there, we need that proof. We would need a ring camera footage to show her outside the house. We would need to show a copy of a screenshot of an incoming call. They don't need that. We need that. We walk into a precinct. Oh, show me the call. It doesn't have to be the number. Just show me around the time that call. If they walk in, what did he call? Okay, oh no, you didn't see the number or didn't save it. All right, you just instantly get arrested, no questions asked, and that's a problem.
Oh yeah, but I mean, for example, and you're spot on. The gender-driven legal system is why men are forced to prove, and why women are just believed. But just triggered a thought there where I spoke to a dad the other week, and he had a disagreement with the mother of his child. Been in and out of family court for a while. Because of the disagreement, he got an email outlining that their young child, she had decided that she wanted to change her last name. Now she didn't want her dad's name. Now this child's under 10, so clearly this is payback because mum had a disagreement with dad. But under the new amendments that made in this country in the family law, now the primary custody, the primary parent, sorry, can, without any, they don't need permission, they can change the child's last name.
Wow.
It's ridiculous what they're doing. And I come back to what I said before, Clayton, is how can it not be an anti-family agenda running when people can't stay married, children don't get to know a complete half of their other side of their family because mum or dad, sorry, is financially incentivized to withhold them from the other side. And yet the people that are actually in a position to stop this and outline it and expose it want to just keep hiding behind legislation and saying that, but what we're doing is in the child's best interest.
No, they want
There's
to keep getting. It's not they're hiding behind legislation, but they also want to keep getting paid. They have
yeah,
nice houses, they have boats, they have cars, they have kids in college they have to pay for, and that's really what it is. Like I don't know about when you were in the hearing, but if you pay attention to when they're setting up their scheduling, you might notice one lawyer, oh no, I'm not available that day, Your Honor. I'm booked all throughout the week. All we're doing is filling their damn calendar. That's it. They're literally using our pain and our misfortune to fill up their calendars to pay 401ks, college tuition, car notes, mortgages. It's like, come on, you're sworn to an ethical oath to look out for the best interest of the child, and two, to protect the rights of the litigant. That is the primary focus of the family court. One, the protection of the best interest of the child, and two, the interest of the litigant. If you're not looking out for the actual litigant because you're siding with one litigant more than another, and you're definitely not representing the best interest of the child, then what's the purpose of the entire system?
exactly. And I mean, if the first question if the lawyer genuinely wanted the best interest of the child to be paramount in the decisions, what they're arguing for, one would have thought the very first question that both mum and dad gets asked in their initial interview is, "What can I do for you to keep the child a part of both families?" That
That's
should be that should be the core question that is asked, and the only question that really needs to carry any weight when the judge. Because if dad's saying, "I'm happy to, the child to see the other side of the family as and when," and mum's saying, "Nah, I don't want him seeing the kid. I don't want his family seeing the kid." There's the problem.
That's the
She's
problem. Yeah, yeah. Because
that's
a personal dispute has nothing to do with who the child sees. And the court has to know that. The court has to know that one person who's denying a family access to a child, and the family's done nothing wrong. Okay, let's say hypothetically the woman makes allegations, oh, they hit my child or whatever. You have to prove that. She shouldn't be allowed to make blanket allegations and keep a child away from an opposite side of the family for years on end for an unprovable allegation that ultimately, in the end, they're not even going to make the woman prove. They're not. They're just going to take her testimony, and unless the guy can present enough evidence to counteract her credibility, they're going to convict her. She needs no evidence.
and to touch go a bit further on that, it is written in the law that if you make a false statement to police, you can be charged and
Oh yeah,
sentenced
definitely.
to 2 years from each offence. But it doesn't seem to apply to women in this country anyway, or yours by the sense
No,
of it.
they
So
tell us over here that they don't know. And there's actually a gentleman who I'm connected with on Facebook. He's trying to start a class action lawsuit in New York for people who's been falsely arrested. I just thought about it. I think I should contact him. even though I got two in, so I might not. But anyway, he has a whole like movement where he has stop false police reporting, and that's the biggest issue that even he advocates against. Is that it's in procedural law that if you file a false complaint, that you are supposed to be arrested. Period. That's it. The police use the excuse that if they arrest the people who file false reports, it's going to diminish people from filing and reporting crimes. That sounds in itself like complete bullshit. How does arresting people who are lying stop people who from telling the truth? That makes absolutely no sense. But this is the argument that they actually think people are so unintelligent they're going to believe.
And it's funny because that's exactly what I was told at the police station. If we charged her, then that might deter a genuine victim in the future from coming forward. No. So based on that analogy, that means that you should let every bank robber walk out because you don't want to offend him.
Exactly.
But
You might as well just let the bank robbers go anyway. What's the point of locking them up? You're not going to deter the other one. You might as well just let them go.
yeah, exactly right.
I never understood that about them, you know. But the major problem again is, and we haven't really touched on it, is the judges. Um, a lot of times in these situations, even if it's lawyers, the ultimate power in the courtroom is the judge. The judge is the one who sways the court. The judge has the power, and I've learned all of this from going through this situation. The judge is the only one who can dismiss. At any hearing we go to, a judge can dismiss that hearing. It doesn't take a motion. It doesn't take an argument. If a judge sees something that's procedurally incorrect or something that judge believes to be untrue, the judge can stop the procedure, order what's called a fact-finding hearing into that part of the case, and upon those facts, can immediately dismiss the case without a trial. This is what they were supposed to do to me for 3.5 years that they never did. They never went to a fact-finding hearing to find out if there was ever any real allegation of abuse or any real threat. They just left the order of protection in place for 2 or 3 years, hoping it would create more litigation and fuel the system more financially. And they were right, of course it did. So they know what they're doing. They know absolutely if they give these women order of protections that 95% of the time the guy's going to be arrested at least once. They know it.
Yeah, yeah, and you're right, and which in turn is just further funding for them. Isn't it? We can make more and more out of it. They don't have to be too concerned about anything other than. And the other thing, I don't know if you've got it over there, but here we have, well, it used to be Section 121. Now I think it's Section 114Q. But basically, you can't talk about anything in family court or part of the proceedings, or they'll lock you up. So if you're genuinely putting together the best interests of the children's future, why would you need to hide behind secrecy and not allow everybody to know why you've come to the decision that you have?
Oh, you mean they sealed the decision under like a gag order or something?
Yep.
Oh, you mean the transcript?
No, the whole matter.
No, they don't. Over here, they don't seal the whole. They do, but it depends on like specific circumstances. The only thing I know they do seal is they seal the decision transcript, which I think is stupid, because the decision transcript explains why you made the decision. So why are you going to seal the? Why are you going to seal the transcript of the decision? The trial, okay, I could get that, but this decision, I would say that should be kind of open record, because then if someone has sees the decision, the order, they just pull the transcript to see why you made this decision. But I think they do that on purpose, like you were saying, just to make it harder. Because okay, yeah, there might be an order in place in protection, let's say protect me as the father. But as long as they don't know why that order is in place, it makes it easier for them not to enforce it.
Yeah. Well, touching on transcripts in this country, I spoke to a dad about a month ago. He was actually made to pay almost $11,500 for the transcript from a 4-day trial in his matter, because he was told that you need this evidence if we're going to run an appeal.
Mm.
And then upon paying the money and getting the transcript, then the law firm decided to say, well, there's not really much in it. We don't really think we've got a basis for an appeal. I mean, that would have been helpful information before he laid out, 11.5 grand for the transcript.
They do the same thing over here. They mandate that you get the transcript for the appeal, but the transcript, that's why it's good to become knowledgeable of the legal procedure in the family court, because you learn that the transcript is only the record of what's going on in the court. If it's something that has to do with evidentiary, you don't need a transcript for that. But over here, they force us to get the transcript. Like if you don't get the transcript, they'll dismiss your appeal. They don't care. They don't even care if you don't use the transcript. They just make you buy this transcript. You have to pay for a copy for the prosecutor too. You pay for the crop. You pay for the prosecutor's copy, the court's copy, and you have to pay for a copy for yourself. You have to send these copies to everybody there, and then you go through to see if there's a procedural issue. But if there's no procedural issue, the transcript is absolutely useless. You have to go through case law and through statutory law to find that procedural or statutory issue, and then use that to try to get the appeal. It's a complete robbery.
It is, and how can it be anything other than extortion?
Mm.
You know,
It is
it's
extortion.
and like
That's
I keep
exactly
saying
what
to
it
the
is.
cats I've talked to, mate. There's only one thing that a stranger can come into your life and take from you and force you to give everything else up to get back, and that's your
Yeah,
children.
you show me. Yeah,
Most men in a fucking heartbeat would trade everything out just to get their children back, or at least spend some time with them and get to see them. And I
yeah,
think that's a big part and a big play in the system is they know that too. So therefore, if we take the kid away from dad, he's going to go after it. He's going to give everything he's got to get it back. And some of the cases are just astronomical amounts of money that are being taken from men. And look, as I said, there is alienated mothers, but as an alienated father, I don't speak to a lot of alienated mothers. I speak to a lot of alienated fathers because we sort of bounce ideas and experiences off one another, trying to support and share how best to move forward and navigate. And the sad reality is, Clayton, when a father rings me now out of the blue and he says, "Look, what do you recommend regarding family court?" And it's with a heavy heart, mate, that I say this: don't fucking go.
don't go.
Because if you're gonna go, you're gonna lose everything. You're gonna lose your fucking sanity. You're going to be pushed to limits that you didn't even know you could bounce back from, and you're gonna lose your children. Whereas if you don't go, you just need to accept the reality that you're going to lose your children. And as hard as that is to hear and to say, that's the reality. Like you touched on before, we're no good to nobody if we're all broken and destabilised and sitting around moping through life wondering why shit turned bad.
Yeah.
We've got to focus on ourselves and be there. And hope's a dangerous thing, but maybe one day then kids do look you up and try to find out your version
I'm
of
a,
events.
I'll be honest. I was there. I honestly, I was about to give up. It was 3 years. I said, you know something? I'm not old. I'm young enough that I can have another kid. And I loved my daughter. I did everything I could do. I said, you know something? I have these court records. I have proof. I tried. So if I go to court and this doesn't work, I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna let them do whatever they want to do. I'm gonna stop going to the court proceedings, and I'm gonna just keep the information till the kid's old enough, and then I'm gonna say, hey, listen, this was not me. This was your mother, and that's it. And here you go. You can read it yourself. You see what your mother did, and then you make your own decision. But I personally believe that no man is good to their child if you're a complete loser and you're a bum. And that's what family court is trying to do to you. That's what they're trying to do to us by doing this. They're trying to completely decimate your life and subject you to a form of financial slavery for as long as they can.
Yeah, agreed, 100% spot on, and just destabilise men at will. Most
Mm.
men don't want to end up deadbeats. Most men don't want to end up homeless. Most men don't want disgusting false allegations on their fucking reference sheet. But then a lot of us are forced to just deal with it, move along. And the worst part is, I remember going to a lawyer and asking and saying, "Well, how do I get legal accountability?" They just said, "I just try to forget that it ever happened, move on, and live your life the best way you can."
Yeah, that's what they told me. That's what they told me.
What a cop out! I don't
Yeah.
ever remember my father telling me that if something's done wrong to you, you just forget about it, move on, and let it go.
Mm.
You stand up for yourself. You stand up for those that can't stand up for themselves. You draw a line in the sand and you say no more.
No more.
That's where 2025 is. For a long time, I've been silenced legally.
Mm.
So, and they've taken everything from me. I don't have a relationship with any of my children left. But what they need to understand now, Clayton, is they've created this monster. So you
Yeah.
don't get to dictate terms forever when you want to sit back and destroy a man and then tell me that if you say anything about what we've done to you and your children, we'll lock you up. Well,
Mm.
that threat, it's not worth the paper that it's fucking printed on.
Yeah, you already did that. I'm at the same point. That's why I speak. So I don't care. I call the DA an asshole. I could care less. I hope you're watching. I hope
Yeah,
your investigators are watching me. You watch every episode. You scrutinize every word. But you're
yeah,
not gonna ever stop me from telling the truth, which is that you violated my civil rights and you've been lying for years.
yeah,
Period.
exactly. And it's only men that are deterred from telling their truth.
Mm.
If you're a woman and you've been wronged, the entire world will tell you, you speak your truth, girl. You
Yeah.
fucking have it. But as a man, if you open your mouth, we'll come knock on your door, we'll drag you off, we'll lock you up, and then we'll just fucking forget you're even in there. We'll put you
Yeah.
through the system to the point where we'll take everything you've got that's worth anything, break you down, we'll make you that fucking traumatized that
Mm.
you just get sick of getting back up. That's the issue that I think we're facing now. And in this country, 47 men a week are being politically and legally coerced, and I choose my words carefully, coerced into suicide. And
Yeah, I
I
remember
believe,
you told me that. You were
yeah,
telling me that last time.
yeah, big belief in the fact that 90% of those poor bastards are fathers that are being destroyed by the family court system. And to sit back any further, to be complicit and stay silent when you know something so wrong is being done, I think is it's a character reference, and I can't do it anymore. I won't do it anymore. So, and growing up, I heard this quite a lot that I was a loudmouth little prick. So
Me
maybe
too.
I need to revert back to the way I was when I was a bit younger. So this year, I have a lot to say, and I'm going to say it. So
Amen.
actually, I'm
Amen.
giving myself a bit of a pump up, mate. I'm launching my own podcast channel on YouTube
Mm.
called The Unspoken Truth. And it started off to just discuss parental alienation and all the court biases, but now it's sort of evolved into anything that's been hidden in plain sight, anything that we know is to be true that we're told is a lie. I want people to call up and have a chat about. I want people to tell me their experience. Every single person on this planet, including the homeless man down the block, has knowledge to share.
Yes.
Whether or not you choose to listen or you choose to believe that it's valuable to listen to, I do. I think everybody's got a story to share, and I want to hear from everybody that thinks they've got, anything. It doesn't matter what they think. They believe it's relevant. I want to know.
Well, you know what they say: only a fool knows everything. A wise man is always learning.
Yeah, no, exactly that. Yeah.
So I look forward. I look forward to watching that. Well, of course you'll send me the link. I'll spread the link. You know me.
Oh, you'll be
I'll
one of the
definitely.
you'll be one of the first interviews, mate. So you'll be going nowhere.
I look forward to that. It's not. I don't get interviewed. I got interviewed actually. Wow. I'll tell you about this when I actually can because I got something else going on that's insane over here. But I just got interviewed by Rolling Stone like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, man. Kind of the same situation. That's really big. It's not big in the point of it's a good thing, but I just unfortunately happen to be involved in this really fucked up situation that unfortunately I'm gonna have to speak out on publicly. Um, and it's kind of the same situation again, dude. This guy is in trouble because he's an asshole. He's done a lot of things that it's time for. It's karma is a 360 circle, brother. And this guy's karma has finally turned 360 and is about to kick him in the damn face. The problem is that he's involved in a situation with a young woman, and she has accused him of domestic violence. Now, in accusing him of domestic violence, she's using the fact of a lot of the things she did during the relationship to try to make it seem like he made her do them. And I was involved in this situation, and I know he didn't. I know he didn't make her do this. I know she was a willing participant. He was abusive to her. He was, but he was abusive to her because she would do things like they were in a swinging type of situation. So if they were in a situation and she didn't respect the rules and she snuck around with the guy, him being emotionally unbalanced because they were both using drugs, him and her would get into domestic disputes. She lies and tells the cops he's just been beating her ass and making her do all of these things for years. Typically, like women do, just blaming him for everything because she's the woman and society's going to believe her that she was a victim. On top of that, this asshole actually got caught on tape hitting him. So now everybody believes what this woman is saying, that this guy was just making this woman do all of this fucked up stuff. Unfortunately, I happen to know that he didn't make her do all of this stuff. Um, and in the beginning, I wasn't going to speak out about it. I was going to stay quiet about it. But going through this situation, is kind of said. I said to myself, I said, "What kind of fucking man are you? If you know this chick is lying on this guy and you don't say anything just because you know he's a piece of shit." I can't do that. I got lied on. I got put in jail because a woman decided to lie on me and blame me for things I never did because she knew the system would help her. I can't do that. So now I'm in this whole situation where it's probably going to blow up, and when it does, I'll put you on a little more. But it's a crazy situation, and it really has awoken me to how serious this problem is. Like you and I, we're normal, average, everyday guys. Situations happen like this happen to celebrities and people of prominence. It destroys their whole life. It destroyed both of our lives. It
Oh
destroyed our
yeah,
relationships with our children. I'm pretty sure, like me, like you, like me, it's taken thousands of dollars from you. It's taken your peace. It might have taken some of your hair, like me. I damn sure took my um, and it's not fair, man. So I know that I have to do the right thing and I have to speak out for this guy, man. So overall, this entire situation has just affected my life, but it's opened my eyes, though. So
yeah.
I'm hoping I can do the right thing in the situation when it comes.
Glad to hear, mate, because a lot of blokes will turn the other cheek, and I'm a strong believer. And I said
Mm.
this the other day somewhere, and I truly believe. I think it was Einstein that said it. I don't know, but the world isn't going to be destroyed by evil. It's going to be destroyed by good people that choose to not do anything about the evil.
Mm.
So if we all sit back and decide that, oh, it's not my problem, I don't want to know, it's not affecting me directly, how is that benefiting the poor bastard down the road that you know is going to end up in a situation where he has to consider his own life because he's put through false allegations of some disgusting nature? Until men realise that standing side by side is our only option, and being able to talk and share and express what we normally would be told, oh no, just keep it to yourself, don't worry about it, no one wants to hear.
Mm.
Fuck that. We need to be loud and proud and say our truth.
Yes.
Because it's that's how they continue winning. That's how they control the narrative. Is
Yeah.
most people are too fearful to share because oh shit, I was accused of this. And the other stigma around all this too is that 99% of society believes if you've got a domestic violence order on you, you must have done something.
Oh yeah.
You're a hardened perpetrator. You're a nasty motherfucker. You've done something. But then it's funny because I talked to a dad. Well, no, sorry, he's not a dad. I talked to a man a while back who said to me he was in that group. So I asked them now when they get a DV order and they can't comprehend how they've got one. I say, so were you in this group where if someone mentioned this to you years ago, you would say they're a violent perpetrator? You went, oh yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Now I've been humbled because I know that in his situation, his ex partner went to the police and said they had a disagreement 4 to 5 years prior and he kicked her in the foot or something. And that was literally enough for him to be removed from his multi $1 million house and she could move back in and stay there, but he couldn't go anywhere near her, he couldn't talk to her. All he could do was go to the courts and at last count he's out of pocket X amount of money. And it's all because she's believed he's not, and it fuels the litigation process to drag it out for as long as they deem fit until they can get as much out of it as possible.
Mm.
And like we said earlier, people can't comprehend just how toxic of an environment the legal system is if
Yeah.
you've not had the unfortunate experience of being dragged through it. It really doesn't, you can't articulate it well enough for people to get it. And I don't know about you, but I've lost a lot of friends that just go, it can't happen that way.
Oh
That's
yeah.
fucking bullshit. That's not how
Oh
it
yeah.
works.
I lost a lot of friends. It's kind of funny because they got TikTok and how you could see people in your profile when they look at your profile. One of my friends that I stopped speaking to a couple of years ago was in my profile, and I thought about it because I've known this guy since I was probably I think I've known this guy since I was like 11 years old. But when I was going through my domestic dispute, one day I saw him, and I'm like, "Yo, man, what's up?" And he says, "Why would you do that to that girl?" And I was shocked. I was like, "What?" It's like you know me. You've known me for 20 years. And he totally believed all the stuff my ex was saying about me on social media, and it hurt me because he was supposed to be a friend of mine. Um,
Yeah.
but I realized in that instant when this guy did this to me, I said, "You know something? I wonder how many friends I've probably lost to this." So I actually started doing an inquiry, like looking into people I used to talk to. And some of my friends unfollowed me. They unfollowed me because I was going through a dispute with a woman that they didn't want to believe was actually stalking me. Um, but we can't let things like that hurt us, man. Because people who do that to you were never your friend anyway. The only thing I'm really grateful to my ex for one thing in particular, other than the fact that she gave me the hunger to want to learn the law. is that she cut the fat in my life. If you ever heard that expression,
Yeah.
she cut the grass. Now I can see every snake in the damn grass. I can see every fake relationship. I can see every flower that was a fake flower without roots. And all I did was get rid of them. So I'm thankful to her for that because at least the situation exposed the corrupt people in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And I
I was
think,
similar. Yeah. Same sort of thing. I lost my best mate,
yeah,
and
he
for
wasn't your best mate.
no, and what we've been through, I thought obviously, well, fooled me, I suppose. But I believe that he would have taken a bullet for me, and vice versa. Push come to shove, but then
Ain't you glad nobody fired that bullet? You would have been shot.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah, because now it's quite obvious that if the bullet was fired, he would have dragged me in front of his ass and
Yep.
ran off in the other direction. So, but it is hard to comprehend that you can put so much trust and belief into somebody, and then a mere allegation, and they don't even want your version of events.
Mm.
They don't even want to ask you. They've already predetermined their own mind. You're fucking guilty. You're a violent perpetrator because you've got a violent order.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hard to swallow.
It
Really.
hurts, man, especially if you know the people and you actually care about them. It was in my personal life. It was so many people who I personally knew that turned on me for something
Yeah.
they knew I didn't do. They knew I didn't do it, but I realized that they wanted to turn on me. They were just waiting for the opportunity. They were waiting for something to say, you know what? Now we can get at them because this is what it is. And you got to, like, again, we got to be thankful when people do stuff like that. That's the biggest lesson I've gotten out of this nightmare of the situation. Be thankful when people show you who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so, well, actually, what I did want to discuss quickly about things was in regards to your new president over there, mate. What's this whole gender? I seen a brief statement the other day that there's only men and women.
Oh yeah,
We know that, but I mean,
he's not playing all of that transgender as a sex. They over here they're losing their fucking mind. They got transgenders in prisons with women. And he stopped all of that. He moved them to men's prisons. The U.S. government only recognizes men and women. They don't recognize transgender or what do they call it now? Other or binary. They don't recognize that. Um, and he's stirring a lot of pots. But the truth of the matter is, he's not really doing anything wrong. He's doing what he should be doing. There are only two fucking genders. You can't create a new gender. If there's only two genders.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that's basically what he's doing.
Is the curriculum cleaned up so they've removed all that bullshit from the learnings of primary school kids, especially?
Mm.
'Cause
Yeah,
that's
because they
the
do. They teach it. They were teaching it in the school over here. I believe he's about to ban that now too. But they were teaching it over here. They were teaching transgenderism. I believe there was even programs that were helping kids get like sex changes. It was, excuse the language, it was fucked up over here. It really was.
well, that's what I mean. It's still fucked up here. They're still
Yeah.
doing that here. They've got fucking there's transgenders drag queens reading story time to children, young
Wow.
kids. Oh, in the fucking school, mate. It's just insane what goes on in this country. Um, I, Trump's hated in a lot of fashions from
Yeah.
a lot of different areas, but at the same token, I mean, in my opinion, if every country had a Trump, then the constituents would be represented to their best ability, not
Yeah.
with this bullshit bureaucratic political ideology that they think that we need to include all these made-up genders, or we need to only favour one side in a family court dispute, or common sense has never been so uncommon in this fucking world. It's
It's,
crazy.
it's
It
not.
really
You're right. You would think that people were wiser to think that some certain things were just basic common sense, but they're not. You learn pretty quickly that stupidity is rampant.
Yeah. And karma train just takes a lot longer to get back around nowadays, I think.
Mm. But
Like
Trump is
it's
stirring things up. I'm actually hoping because I voted for him. I had to. I saw the trap, like the way they do things over here. You might be a little familiar with it. They have like the Democrats, the Republicans, etc. Um, the Democrat, they ran a horrible campaign. They used a bunch of rappers and hip hop stars to convince me to vote for them. I didn't even listen to half the people they had out there. Like, who the hell is these people to tell me to vote for the country? They're singers. They have no political insight on what's going on in the country. They're super rich. They live in fucking mansions. They're not dealing with a fraction of the issues I'm dealing with. Um, but Trump made a lot of sense this time. He really did, especially with the same sex thing. That caught me big. Um, the way they prosecuted him, as someone who was maliciously prosecuted, I totally connected with that. I totally connected with how all of these people went after this guy to put him in jail, and how he kind of came around it with the election. I had a lot of respect for him, so I just had to vote for him. And I'm kind of hoping that it does something better for this country than what we've had for the last 4 years, because it's been horrible. And I think you probably see the horrible migrant problem we have now. We got a horrible migrant problem.
Oh, we've got the same issue here, and we've got an election coming up this year. But the problem that I see with the political agenda is that what stood out to me is blue and red,
Mm.
Democrats, Republicans. Well, in Australia, it's Labor and Liberal, but conveniently, it's blue and red. And it doesn't really matter who you vote for. Only one of those parties can form government.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'll come back to horse racing, but geez, it'd be handy to roll up down to the track and only have to pick fucking one out of two horses to be the winner. It'd be a pretty easy win, wouldn't it? You could put 50k large on either fucking horse. You're gonna walk away with some form of wins.
Yeah, you'll be flush either way you go.
Yeah, exactly right. So, actually, touching on it, the famous people. I seen a thing the other day that Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt just finished in family court
Yeah.
after 8 years. She walked away with $80 million extra than Brad Pitt did.
Wow. I gotta.
$80 million.
And those are not even their kids, right? Didn't they adopt those kids?
And what struck me was how much did each barrister make out of these poor bastards?
Wow.
You know, there would have been, and again, to tell us it's under the kid's best interest. How's it under the kid's best interest that you've just taken 80 mil off dad and given it to mum when they both agree they can't live together, but they want to look after the kids equally?
I gotta read that. I can't believe they just gave her $80 million. Wow.
Well, the divide and conquer strategy is being implemented.
Hmm.
Men against women, women against men. Men are too fearful now to have children to get married because you might as well just find a homeless man and give your shit away.
Yeah.
And women know that no matter what happens, they will be protected. No matter what is said and done, they have the option to go to the legal system. They can drag it out as long as they like, and they know that even if they're found to be telling false allegations, there's very, very few cases where they'll actually be made to pay the money back or made to outlay any form of compensation. They're allowed to, and they get away with it, and therefore that's why they continue to.
I've been looking for cases to see them being where they've been held to account. I'm gonna be honest, I still haven't found one. I found cases where judges have given custody to the fathers, but I've never found a case where a woman who filed a false petition in family court has been arrested. Never.
No, neither have I.
And I probably won't.
No, you probably won't.
Because I've been looking, I've never seen one, and it's sad that they don't do anything about this. But I don't know. We're working it. We're getting there. We definitely are. I wanted to bring something on screen real quick, but I don't think I brought the USB drive from my office. I didn't. Damn. Well, we'll do this again. We can do it next time. I had a whole chart that I had to break down the basic process of the two departments you have to file a judicial complaint, but I left the USB drive at my office. So we'll do that the next one.
Yeah. Happy to do another one, mate.
Oh, absolutely. Especially now that you got a podcast going, we can do them as many as you want. That's the only reason why I haven't been on as much is because I'm in school again. Again, man, you got to be thankful for your enemies when they change you for the better. Because of all of this that happened, I'm trying to go into like an entirely new field related. I don't want to talk about it because I still have a stalker who might try to ruin that. But clearly, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm getting at, what I'm going to school for. So that just takes a lot of my energy lately, man. It's like I'm gonna be honest, it's kicking my ass. But I think as long as I had someone else who could help structure content more, I would be a more than willing co-host. I could definitely come on.
Yeah. That sounds good to me. I've just got to get my technical handicap side of things worked out.
It is annoying in the beginning connecting all of the different platforms. Like I noticed mine every couple of weeks. I got to reconnect everything. Like right now, I'm not on three platforms on this, but once I download it, I'll clip it up and then push it through the thing and connect the rest of them. If you need any help with that too, I'll definitely help you.
Yeah, yeah, I will reach out for that, mate, because I'm bloody hopeless when it comes. How do you go with the editing? How much time do you put into that?
Oh, let's see. If you do it by hand, it could take several hours. I use websites. I'll send you a list of them. They're freaking cheap. You just throw like you see this video. I'll throw this video in the website. It'll make me 80 clips of it, and I'll schedule them through like Meta. What do you call that? The Meta Business Suite for Facebook. And TikTok, you just schedule them out. Schedule them every couple of days. I'll sit down and schedule it, and then I don't worry about it for the rest of the week. They post themselves.
Yeah,
But if you
right.
really, yeah, like if you make the, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That would be real handy. Actually, I didn't even know that existed. So yeah,
No, see, that's why you have friends. It does. when I started, when I started in the beginning, dude, I used to spend every show took me probably 4 or 5 hours to redistribute in the nighttime.
that's what
But
I'm finding here, and it's doing my head in.
you don't want to do that. You want to throw it in something simple that just breaks it into clips, and then you can edit on top of those clips on like TikTok or something. But I'll send you that when we off. They're easy. They make life so much easier. While you're doing something else, it'll completely clip it up, and then it sends it. The ones you want, you download. The ones you don't want, you leave there.
Yeah, beautiful. That sounds like a plan. Yeah. No,
Yep.
because as I said, mate, this year's got to be the year. I can't sit back anymore and watch all these blokes keep taking their own life based upon what I've experienced, what I've lived through, what I know. Um, and to be honest, too, I'm at the point where we're coming up to 9 years now where I've been in a fight and I've had my hands tied behind my back. So
God
it's
bless.
about time that I got to start letting a few go rather than just be punched around and told to
I
stay quiet.
I commend you too, because 9 years I've been at three, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Because you said you were out of town for the holiday too. I actually went to Colombia. I had to get away. I couldn't even afford it, dude. But it was so cheap once I got in Colombia. Everything turned to pesos. I went by myself. I didn't take a woman with me. First vacation I've ever taken in my life without going with a woman. And I'll be honest with you, I had the best time of my fucking life.
I was going to say, would have
Had
been
the
all
best
fucking
time of my
amazing.
fucking life, bro. I swear, I wasn't worried about impressing some woman where I stayed at. Every time I go away, I gotta find a nice place to stay. All of this shit, dude. I straight backpacked it through Colombia on a fucking bus. I had a
Yeah,
great time. I ate food from the side of the road. Nobody bothered me. I saw the mountaintops. I saw the fucking mountains of between Bogota and Medellin. I would have never did all of this with a girl. She would have been complaining.
oh yeah. Wanted to do all the touristy stuff.
I did all of the touristy stuff. I did it alone, and it was great. I got nobody bothered. I never thought I would have that much fun by myself. I honestly went there expecting to meet a girl and keep her with me the entire time. But that didn't work out too well because 90% of the women I ran into when I got into Cartagena were prostitutes. Um, and although that might be kind of likable once in a while, we don't really want to, be around all the time prostitutes. You know what I'm saying? I'd like
Yeah.
to be around some regular women who are not trying to sell it.
You
Um,
would start with a bit of moral foreground,
I well, yeah, so I want to start with a little bit of moral for a little bit. Just trying to build a regular life. I'd like you to have some form of normalcy to you, not be trying to go outside every time it's nighttime to make some damn money. That's not gonna
mate.
work.
You
um,
don't want to come home and find a red light on the veranda, do you?
no, no, not at all. So it was so bad in Cartagena. Here's the truth. I woke up, I think about 4 o'clock in the morning. And I looked outside and it was still full of prostitutes, 4 o'clock in the morning, but I was hungry. I said, damn, I got to get something to eat. I went to sleep too early. I had been out all day. So I go out into the street and I try to just go get some food. And literally, I walked 1 block and I had to be sexually molested by about 18 women, grabbing everything, grabbing, oh, come here, Poppy, come here. I said, you know something? Fuck this. I called the Uber. I went to the bus station. I left for Medellin that morning.
Yeah,
And it was a really wise decision because Medellin turned out to be the best city in Latin America to me. It was good, a lot of culture, a lot of great food. I was able to type up lawsuits, most peace I've had, brother, in 3 years. I'm gonna be honest. Slept like a baby, probably because I didn't think the cops were gonna come wake me up in the morning because I violated an order of protection.
yeah. It's sad you've got to leave your home country to find
Yeah,
peace.
I was just about to say that it is sad. I had to go to another country to find peace for 2 weeks. But all it's done is make me aware of how much that this really needs to be advocated. Because we know we probably won't change the whole system, but if we can wake up enough people that they at least say, you know what happened to those two guys happened to me. Maybe I should support it. Maybe we get something done. Because it's just ridiculous. Nobody should have to go through 9 years. Nobody should have to go through that. 9 years? Come on. Just
Yeah, and like you said, too, like the whole time that I should have been focusing on being the best dad I can be as a single parent, I had to wake up every day wondering if I was going to be locked up. You know, I had to go to school to pick up my children, wondering if they're actually going to be there to collect, and the mother hasn't gone down and fabricated something else, and then I'm there again. And, you know, just the endless bullshit that's solely based on the fact that I was born with testicles is fucking hard to comprehend. That if I was a woman, that I wouldn't have been subjected to this.
at all.
If I had children to a genuine lady, not a toxic woman, then I wouldn't have been subjected to this.
And they blame us for that too.
Yeah.
The court does blame us for that. We're supposed to be clairvoyant and know that these women were crazy and pathological liars before all of this happened. It's fucking impossible. There's no way we could have known this, but we're penalized because of these women that we unfortunately made this mistake with. They're not penalized. They're given they're given sympathy, because we turned out to be bad guys. It can't be them. They can't have ever turned out. There's no way that they could be bad. It's always the man. The man is the bad one. The woman made a mistake, and it's the court's responsibility to protect her from that mistake, even if there's evidence that she's wrong. It's insane.
Yeah, yeah, and as you said, mate, it's exactly the way it is.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be clairvoyants, but even when they've got the facts and the evidence, they won't find against the mother. And the sad truth is, and there's plenty of statistics to back this up, a single father household raises children that are productive members of society that are happy and healthy far better than a single mother household does.
Yeah.
And almost on par with what a mother and a father household does. So if and I come back to what I said before, that if there's not a push for the destruction of the family nucleus, how can we not believe there's an anti-family agenda being run? And how do you do that? You take that out of the picture, and then you give mum all these rights, and you tell her that you're a strong, independent woman, you don't need a man. And then what we see intergenerational issues where the young daughter then grows up to think, well, I was raised by a single mum. I don't need a man to have a child. I don't need a man to hang around to be a father. I'll do it all myself.
Let's not forget transgenderism.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not forget that either, because that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and it's mental health problems.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
definitely
like my opinion on the transgender and what I refer to as the alphabet mafia. Because if I'm not I'm not big on religion, but I do believe in God. But if you've got male genitals and you try to identify as a woman, you've got mental health problems, and vice versa. All the other ones, I'm sorry, I'm not buying into it. It's not my fault. You've got problems. Don't push that shit on me.
Yeah, take that shit up somebody else, not me.
Fuck it over.
pretty much. That's how that has to work. All right, but we're gonna wrap up because it's 9:45
No
over
worries.
here anyway. Luckily for you, it's not. It's like 1 o'clock over there. For me, it's like 10 o'clock.
It's like 1:15 here.
Oh, I'm getting good, man. I'm getting good with this time, with the time thing. I'm getting better. Once I have it, once I have the time thing, I can catch it.
I'm no good with it at all, mate. That's what I said to you in the messages. I'll leave that up to you, that part.
What I'll do is I'll clip this up and I'll send you the clips in WhatsApp. But we should do this again. It's Tuesday. Why don't we do this again on Saturday morning for you? And we can go through the misconduct. How's your schedule looking Saturday?
Have a look in the old man diary. Yeah, that'll work. Same time.
Same time. That's the only way. The old man diary is the only thing that works. I got one right in front of me on my desk. You can't go wrong. I'm going to write that now. And for everyone watching, when we come together on Saturday, we're going to talk about ways you can properly fight judicial misconduct. how you can report the judge, how you can try to get action against the judge if you feel the decisions that he is or she is rendering against you are biased and arbitrary, as they call it.
All right.
And that's going to be a
Thanks.
Saturday at 1 o'clock. Boom.
All right. Well, thanks for your time again today, mate. I appreciate you. I know you've got plenty going on, so appreciate
We're
your
going to
time.
be Well, one battle is over, so now me and you can focus on the better battle.
Yep.
And I have more time to devote to this. But the legal battle, the civil rights battle, is not over. You're right. So with one door closing, another one opens for another fight. Unfortunately,
Yeah. Well, we're both in civil claims now, so we can, once
hopefully,
I remove the suppression order, I might be able to talk about mine.
hopefully, I don't know if you're suing them for a monetary benefit. You should because they owe you money. If 9 years, they owe you money. Um, but
Well, I am.
hopefully that goes well, and when we both win, we can celebrate. It won't be a major celebration, but it'll be a nice man relaxing vacation that has been earned.
At some point in our discussions, I will share what my next plan of attack is for this year, but um, it is in reference to what they've subjected to me or to my children and myself for 9 years. So it will be an astronomical monetary advance that I'm going to go for.
And that's what's up. That's what you do. Because I just did it, so I totally understand. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, sounds good.
All
All
right,
right,
brother.
mate. Enjoy the rest of your night, mate.
All right. Thank you for the good night. Enjoy your day.
You too. Thanks,
All
mate.
right, brother. All right.
Bye.
Okay, everyone. So that was Daniel Bentinelli. As you see, that is my new podcasting, somewhat of a sometimes co-host. And the mission is simple, people. We're both single fathers. We were both horribly violated by a corrupt and incredibly biased judicial system. And it was unfair. He lost his daughters, as you heard, for 9 years. I lost my daughter for 3 years. My daughter started off as a toddler. The next time I saw her, she was wearing like size 10T or 12T toddler boots, whatever it calls, and that's not right. No parent truly deserves to be robbed of any time from their child. It's unfair, and it's just unjust. And the family court system is wrong for falsely empowering these mothers with this blanket, unchecked power to strip fathers from their children. Forgive me for stuttering, people. It's late. I've been working all day. I had class. I'm tired, so I'm about to log off. But hopefully, this conversation between me and Daniel was helpful. It inspired a father out there who may be going through something, who may just need somebody to hear another man talk about the struggle so he gains the strength to fight back. Every father, single father out there needs to hear me and understand this message. If your child is not worth fighting, you're no man. Your child should definitely be worth fighting for. It doesn't matter if their mother's an asshole. It doesn't matter if the mother may be with another man. It doesn't matter if it's even you and you have an issue. Your responsibility is to become the best person you can, to ignore that mother or do your best to deal with her in whatever capacity you can, and to take care of the child you created, regardless of whatever outside circumstances may be in your way of doing that. Unless a court in criminal detention is stopping you from seeing your child, that's the only way you shouldn't see your child. And if you are being stopped because of some law, some order of the court, then you should do like myself and Daniel, who are truly parents who love their children. You invest every ounce of energy and every amount of yourself that you can into obtaining the right to get access to your children. Because your children are your legacy, people. When they rob you of your children, they rob you of your legacy. So, on behalf of Justice and Operation Rock and a guy who is incredibly tired tonight, people, I'm going to go. And I'll be back Saturday. We'll talk about how ways that you can fight judicial misconduct, how you can report judicial misconduct, how you can have a judge held accountable when they violate your procedural or statutory due process rights. And we're going to go. So, on behalf of Operation Rock, on behalf of Justice, on behalf of education, on behalf of the need to empower people so they don't go through the same nightmare I went through myself. I am Clayton, and I'll be back Saturday for another, hopefully, informative episode. Have a great evening.